My name is Holly Parker, and today I will be presenting a 10-minute mentoring video on the topic of 12 tips of things you need to succeed as a new attorney. First of all, welcome to the practice of law. It's a very exciting profession. You're learning something new every day. I have my own firm, been practicing for about 23 years, and I'm constantly learning new things. My firm is HMP Law, and I'm located in Century City, but I've been in your shoes through my transgression as a more seasoned attorney each year that goes along, starting in-house for a company, then going to a medium-sized law firm, a large law firm, a small law firm, government job, where I worked in the district attorney's office, and then now my own practice. So I've kind of covered in-house, firm, government, own practice. So whatever, place that you find yourself as a new attorney, and even an educator, you can be an attorney and, be teaching a class somewhere. I believe all of these tips in one way or another can apply to you. So welcome, and let's get started. So the first tip is what goes around comes around. Professionalism and civility matter. Now, this rule applies to everyone. It applies to if you're a litigator and you happen to go into a courtroom. It applies to your courtroom staff, your judge, your bailiff, your court clerk, opposing counsel, people in the audience. So you want to make sure that you are civil when you greet the judge. You know that he or she is your honor. When you meet the clerk, when you first walk into the courtroom, you want to make sure that you have your business cards available, know what number you are on calendar, and just be courteous. Sometimes you'll get courtroom staff persons that just haven't had a great day, but don't let that affect how you come off to them. And again, that's everyone with respect to courtroom staff. Now, with respect to your client, you also want to be civil. Sometimes you'll have those clients that are very needy and need a lot of hand-holding. So you don't want to say, oh my gosh, it's John calling again. I told him 8 times that this is the situation. You want to pretend like it's the first time you're explaining it to him. Same thing with a client that thinks they know everything. I hired you. This is what I want to do. This is the way, my way or the highway. As you know, you are there to basically carry out your client's wishes. But in a civil way, you can also tell that client, well, you know what, let me just tell you, the good and bad of what you're saying, or the risk that may happen if we proceed in the way you are. You are the ultimate decision maker in this case, but just let me lay out kind of the lay of the land as to, how we're going to treat your case or how we should respond to certain things. So again, civility with respect to your client. Now, opposing counsel. Always. There's particular rules of professional conduct that we'll get into later, but when dealing with opposing counsel, you want to stay calm, you want to stay professional, and you want to stay civil. Your reputation is everything in this practice of law. You may think that you'll never see this opposing counsel again. He or she got on your nerves, and you just want to read them the riot act and give them the hardest time ever because they didn't extend a deadline to you or something, or you just don't like their personality or the way they practice. Put all that aside. You have to stay professional. You have to stay calm because you're representing not only yourself, but whatever company, firm, and your client. So to the best you can, civility is always the higher ground. And lastly, support personnel or staff within your own firms or companies. Sometimes we take for granted, we're just past the bar, we're lawyers, we've been practicing 5 years, or in my case, 20 years, and secretary just needs to do what he or she, I tell them to do, or, the paralegal doesn't know anything, or, you just might have an air about the position that you hold, or you might even hear from someone that you work with, you don't need to fraternize with the help. Well, in my 23-year career, I always keep myself open, friendly to everyone. I don't care if you have a JD behind your name, an Esquire, a PhD, if you're maintenance, if you're a secretary, if you're a file clerk. It's just very important to be civil to everyone. So moving along, the second tip is to do your homework. Be overly prepared. You got to take responsibility, take notes, go the extra mile to make sure that you are on point as to whatever assignment you have, or if you have to appear in court, that you know where you're going, the directions. Allow yourself extra time. The third point is first impressions matter. Always put your best foot forward. So introduce yourself, eye contact, strong handshakes. Always put the best representation of yourself out at the first meeting that you encounter with your boss, opposing counsel, clients, or other persons in the profession. Next, don't be discouraged over bumps in the road. All problems have solutions. We all make mistakes, but the best thing is to learn from them and not to repeat them, and to also acknowledge them. So don't be discouraged if you make mistakes, you blow a deadline for something, you didn't show up to court on time. There's always a way to correct that and to learn from it and to not repeat it. Next tip is just say no. Pace yourself. Sometimes we want to take on everything. We want to impress the boss. We want to impress the people we work with. We want to compete with another associate to show that, man, I have 20 cases on the books and I'm handling everything appropriately. But just make sure that you know that you can handle that workload. It's okay to say no. It's best to be honest and know what your limitations are. Next tip is to develop a thick skin. So lead with confidence, basically, is what I'm going to say with that. Next tip, relationships matter most. Make connections, network, get some business cards. I'm sure your firm or your companies will provide you with business cards, but go out there, attend, join bar associations. Find out if your firm will sponsor memberships for bar associations and conventions. But it's always good to put your face with the firm so that maybe you can be the rainmaker one day for your company or your firm that you work for. Next tip, adhere to the office culture. Find out, what is my supervisor like? How do I approach my secretary? Should I send her an email? Should I go up and speak with him or her in person? Just know the lay of the land as you start your new venture at a company or a firm. Next, as you know, there's no I in team. I think it's self-explanatory. Be a team player. Next, don't be late. Time management and deadlines are key, especially in litigation. Our practice is based upon making sure you file motions on time, you respond on time. So find out what your deadlines are ahead of time, calendar them appropriately, and adhere to them. Next, self-care is a must. Take time out to take care of yourself. Run, exercise, do yoga, whatever you have to do, because this is a stressful profession, but you can manage it. Lastly, know your ethical rules. California rules of professional conduct are rules that regulate professional conduct of attorneys licensed by the state bar through discipline. You can find the various local rules at calbar.ca.gov. But just quickly, 1.1 deals with competence, 1.3 deals with diligence, 1.15 deals with safekeeping of funds and property of clients, 1.5 deals with fees for legal services, 1.6 deals with confidential information of your client, 5.5 unauthorized practice of law, and 7.3 solicitation of clients. So in this COVID environment, make sure that you adapt to, working remotely, find out what the court procedures are. But in short, enjoy yourselves. Again, we all make mistakes. It is the practice of law. So just do the best you can, and I wish you all the best. And thank you so much.